Hello, welcome to our daily learning in the book of Mishlei. And first of all, my apologies that we didn't get to do the learning during President's Day weekend, but I hope you enjoyed your break. I hope you enjoyed the weekend, you relaxed, and you gathered renewed strength for this week. So sorry we were away for the President's Day weekend, but again, thank you so much for joining us. We are in the book of Mishlei Proverbs, chapter 21. Mishlei chapter 21. King Solomon begins chapter 21. Palgei maim lev melech biyad Hashem. The heart of a king is like a stream in the hand of God, meaning God influences the decisions of kings. And God can direct it in any direction wanted. Meaning, just like sometimes someone who has a field or whatever it is can control a small stream that's in their field, if you have a stream of water there, so too God is able to direct and redirect the heart of the king and make him decide according to God's will. There's a very famous saying in the Talmud that says, meaning the hearts of royals and nobles and kings is in the hand of God. This is such a beautiful idea. Every person sees their own path as the just path. However, God is the one who sees what's in our heart. So often we'll say, oh, I'm doing the right thing, I'm choosing the right thing for the right reasons, but really only God knows what our motivations are and what we really know. So it's possible that someone thinks that they're doing the right thing, but they kind of in the corner of their heart know that actually they're not and they should be doing something else. So God is the one who actually sees what's in our heart. The next verse speaks about charity. Verse 3, God prefers someone who does charity and justice rather than someone who brings a sacrifice and engages in a ritual service. It's not to say that rituals are not important, they have their place, but what does God prefer? Does he prefer our rituals and services or charity? Obviously, much more charity. And that's an idea that's mentioned often in Isaiah, where Isaiah castigates the Jewish people and says, you sometimes think that bringing the sacrifices and the temple service are more important than treating one another with respect. And that's what it says here. It's better to do charity and justice. Verse 4, someone who is arrogant and always seeks to indulge themselves. The candle of a wicked is sinful, meaning even when someone is just looking, when the wicked are just looking to fulfill their desires, usually if it's motivated by arrogance and desire, then that is in the direction of sin. It's not neutral; it's in the direction of sin. The thoughts of the hardworking are only for a purpose. So many times our thoughts wander. We'll think about this, we'll think about that. But if someone is hardworking, if someone is goal-oriented, they're always thinking in terms of what they can achieve. They're only thinking of ideas of how to make their lives more productive, as opposed to someone who is not hardworking and not ambitious and entrepreneurial and industrious. When they're thinking, it's just sort of thoughts in the sky. They're just thinking different ideas, but none which will necessarily materialize. And someone who is just looking into rushing things and not thinking things through, that's not going to yield any profit. So the idea of King Solomon is think things through, think them for a purpose. Don't jump the gun just for no purpose at all. But when you do things, do them in a purposeful way, which is a big time management, business management, personal life management tip that's common today. Verse 6, פועל אוצרות בלשון שקר, הבל נידף מבקשי מוות. If someone gathers wealth and prosperity by means of deception and lying, that is not only going to be fruitless and not only going to take them nowhere, but it's actually going to lead to Next is sometimes people think that by deception they will gain. So verse 7 says, Shod Reshaim Yegorem. The spoils of the wicked are ultimately their own destruction. The wicked think that they can get this and that, they can get away with this and get away with that. And actually, those things are their ultimate downfall. Shod Reshaim Yegorem, Ki me'anu lasot mishpat. Because they refused to act with justice, they refused to do things in an honest way. Now we go again, a similar idea. The way of a man who took himself away from God is going to be slithery. It's going to be sort of the way of that person is going to be tricky. If someone is doing something in a trickerous way, that if someone is deceptive, then what they're going to do is also going to be deceptive. And someone who is honest, someone who is has a good heart, then everything they do is going to be straight in their own eyes. The next verse is a bit sharp. So it's about marriage, and King Solomon says that it's a bit sharp. So really, I'm putting the warning ahead of time here. Verse 9, Tov lashevet al pinat gag. It's better to sit on the corner of a roof, meaning without a fence, sit on the edge of the roof, me'eshet medanim ubeit chever, than sitting with a contentious wife. Than sitting with a wife that is always, looking for fights. And also that is also has to do with someone who is. It's also better to do that than for someone to be speaking with someone else's wife. And Rashi points out here that this is also talking about the temple in Jerusalem, meaning God says, "I'd rather not be house with you guys when you're fighting with one another. I'd rather not be in a place where there's so much contention, so many disputes. I'd rather not have," and that's what led to the destruction of the temple. Next is verse 10. Nefesh rasha ivtara. The soul of the wicked desires bad. Lo yucham. They don't regard the fate of their friends. When someone's wicked and they're making decisions, you look at this when people are committing scams and schemes and Ponzi schemes, things like that. You wonder sometimes, were they thinking about what the other person's life would be like? Were they thinking about how this would impact someone else's life? So nefesh rasha ivtara. The soul of the wicked is always desiring that. He's not going to think about his friend. Next, when the wicked is punished, the wise one is going to learn a lesson. So if you see someone wicked punished, that is a lesson for us to learn. And when you see a that is gaining knowledge, that's going to even give you more knowledge. Maskil tzaddik leveit rasha. The righteous person is thinking about the wicked house. Now, what does this mean that the righteous thinks about the wicked house? So one explanation given is that God is thinking about how to bring punishment to the wicked, judgment on them. And another explanation is that sometimes you have the home of the wicked blessed because of the righteous. Joseph in the book of Genesis and others. But basically the idea is that the righteous is a reason for a blessing to the wicked. So sometimes the wicked will say, "Wow, I succeeded because of this," but actually it's not because of their own doing. Rather, it's because of the fact that they're hiring good people. Next is really powerful, really absolutely powerful. So again, sometimes you have the righteous in the house of the wicked, and that sometimes convinces the wicked that this is something that's good for themselves. Next is verse 13. Otem ozno mizakat dal. If someone closes their ears from hearing the cry of the impoverished, of the poor, gam hu yikra velo ya'aneh. He too will call out and will not be answered. So if someone closes his ears from listening to the wicked, then he too, when he's in, I'm sorry. If someone closes his ears from listening to the oppressed, to the poor, to the needy in time of need, then that same person, when they call out to God, God will not be listening to their prayers since they close their ears to the cries of the needy. And on the other side of this, matan baseter if you give charity secretly, you don't brag about it. You go and you give charity to whoever needs it, not because you want to show off, not because you want to even feel good about yourself. You just want to do it. You want to help them, and therefore you do it in a way that doesn't embarrass them. You do it in a discreet, dignified way. And so if you give charity secretly, that even if God is angry at you, that's going to annul that anger. And even if God has very strong and powerful judgment on you, giving charity annuls that anger. Next is verse 15. Simcha letzadik asot mishpat. It is a joy for the righteous to do justice. But justice is something that is very scary and something that is not wanted by those who do evil. Next is verse 16. A person who strays off the path of knowledge, intelligence, and good judgment, there's no neutral space. They are going to slide into the abyss, into the negative place. Verse 17. Ish machzor ohev simcha, ohev yain v'shemen lo yashir. Someone who is not industrious, someone who does not have their life together, is always looking for parties, for celebrations. They're not focused. The yain v'shemen lo yashir, but ohev yain v'shemen lo yashir. Someone who loves wine and oil, meaning they're always into the pleasures and indulgences of this world, then that person will not become rich at any point. Verse 18, Kofer latzadik rasha v'tachat yesharim boged. Sometimes the punishment of a wicked is what gets the righteous out. The example that Rashi gives is like the story of Esther, Queen Esther, where Mordechai, the righteous, was supposed to get into trouble. Rather, instead of him, you had Haman is the one who was punished. And so the treacherous often are the ones who go instead of the righteous. Next is again similar idea. Again, I said these are very sharp verses. About marriage, verse 19. Tov shevet be'eretz midbar. It's better to sit in the desert than having a contentious marriage full of anger and fights. Verse 20. There will always be treasures and oil, meaning wealth, riches, in the place of the wise. And the foolish are going to make it be lost. That is verse 20. I'd like to thank everyone for being here today. We will be here tomorrow. I appreciate you. I very much thank everyone for being here today. If you have questions, thoughts, comments, anytime, we'll continue, God willing, tomorrow, verse 20. Wishing everyone a very good day, a very blessed day, a very happy day. Only good things for you, your families, and I will see you tomorrow.